Welcome to the Big Picture Retirement Show, where you'll learn what it really takes to have a successful retirement. With over 20 years of experience, your host, Rick Rivera of Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has seen it all and is here to help you achieve your retirement dreams. This is the Big Picture Retirement Show.
Welcome into the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. Rick is a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has over 20 years of experience in the financial industry. You can always learn more about Rick and Reed and Eddie and the team at Safeguard by going to the website safeguardinvestment.com, safeguardinvestment.com. You can find out about events that they put on. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff today on the program. But if you'd like to sit down with them, figure out where you are on that road to retirement. Can I retire? Well, when can I retire? Do I have enough? Is the money going to last as long as I need it to? Are we going to be okay if we retire? It's 800-700-1980. 800-700-1980. No cost to you whatsoever to chat with Rick and the team. They're here to help if they can. Rick always says, give him 45 minutes, and he'll give you 2 ideas that will enhance whatever it is you are currently doing. No cost. 800-700-1980. Rick, we did this way back when we started doing the show. We talked about you and the company and all that. And I thought it'd be a great time to kind of go back and revisit that whole situation so that people get to know you a little bit better. Because at the end of the day, what Safeguard Investment Advisory Group is about helping clients really get that maybe a little clarity into their retirement picture, some help in the income side, the investment side, the tax side, the health care, the legacy, Social Security, Medicare, all those things we have to deal with in retirement. But your business is really built on relationships. Is that fair to say?
Oh, that's very fair to say. Matter of fact, our whole model is based on relationships with our clients, because once we're helping them with their plans, we need to make sure going forward that plan not only is staying intact, but it has to stay up with the current times, because client situations may change, the economy changes, tax laws change. So we're always in constant communication with our clients to make sure that whatever plan we have in place is being modified and of course moving along with them as they get further and further along in retirement. So matter of fact, a lot of our clients actually become good friends of ours.
Sure.
So dealing with them for a lot of our clients, we have over a decade that they've been with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's get to know Rick Rivera. You're not native Californian. How did you get to California? What all have you done? Where's school? All that kind of stuff. Tell us about the Rick Rivera family tree. Where are we?
Well, maybe I can give you like the Cliff Note version. Basically, I was born in New York. I was born in raised in Queens in New York. My parents, when I was in New York, they got tired of all the snow and the weather, the winters in New York. And we had some family in California, and they decided to move to California. So came out here, and we moved originally to Alta Loma, Rancho Cucamonga area. I ended up in Joshua Tree because my parents liked the desert, and I wanted a dirt bike. So
did you do that in high school time frame or grade school?
I started in grade school, so probably like the 6th grade is when I moved out there.
Okay.
And then I went to high school out there, 29 Palms High School. And then from there, went to COD, College of the Desert in Palm Desert. Did that for a couple of years. Actually worked at the Palm Desert Marriott. I loved that job. I was a valet, and there was a big hotel there. They had 2, which I'm sure you would appreciate, 2 18-hole golf courses. And back then, we could, as employees, we could golf. And for $5, we could golf, and we get the clubs and the cart and everything. So anyway, but when I was done with the 2 years there at COD, then I moved. Me and a buddy of mine, we moved down to, we started school at Cal State Fullerton, and we moved to Orange County together. I was working, 2 jobs. It got a little difficult to do that. So then I transferred over to University of Phoenix because they had night courses that I could take to get my bachelor's. And then later on down the road, got my MBA from them as well. And then when I was in college, I started working for an investment advisory firm, and the rest is history from there.
So, I mean, when you were in college, so obviously you were thinking about, since you're in college, you had a part-time job at an investment advisory firm. So you thought, man, I think I kind of like this. This is where I want to go. I'm guessing high school, that wasn't your goal, to work with retirees.
No, you know what? Actually, it was funny because in high school, what I really wanted to do, I wanted to be a pilot. And when I was graduating, I went to the Air Force recruiter, and he told me, he said, listen, in order to be a pilot, you have to be an officer. In order to be an officer, you have to have a degree. So I was like, okay, let me go get my degree and then I'll join the Air Force. Well, I should have probably gone into the Air Force directly and then got my degree while I was in the Air Force, because once you leave, so much stuff happens life-wise that all of a sudden you end up on a different detour. So, of course, I was getting my degree in business, and I was always interested in business. So in college, I ended up getting a job with an estate planning company. And then I enjoyed that. And then I just stuck with it. So when I finally did get my degree, the whole pilot thing was already out of my mind. But there are some times where I was like, dang, it would have been really cool to be a pilot. But yeah, so that's how I kind of stepped into that field, was me landing a job with an estate planning company in Orange County and getting my feet wet, enjoying it, and then just, growing from there.
You could have been a Top Gun pilot.
Yeah. That's
down the road.
I watched that movie. Yeah. I said that could have been me.
Talking with Rick Rivera, kind of going through a little timeline so you get to kind of know him better. Rick and the team at Safeguard Investment Advisor Group are here to help you figure out where you are on that road to retirement. 800-700-1980 if you'd like to have a conversation with them. There's no cost to do so. 800-700-1980. So, wife Shauna, got some kids. You got one that works for Fox Sports. Give us a little family background.
Yeah, so my wife and I, we have a son that he works for Fox Sports. He's a content operator. Basically, what that is he has a team of guys that he's in charge of, and what they do is all of that. Like whenever you have like a Fox Sports app, like on your phone, they make sure that all the games and all the feeds get into your phone properly, and they make sure that depending where the games are at, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, all the right games are playing on the right channels, and so he makes sure all those feeds get into the phone. And then my daughter, she's an LVN. She got into that. And she works, helping. She works more with as an LVN. She works with a lot of seniors, actually, in either in their homes directly, caring for them in their homes, or in sometimes she works in facilities that they're in.
And she's got kids.
Yep, and she's got 3 kids. We got one that's 17, one that's 11, and the other one is 8. So 2 girls and 1 boy. So we got 3 grandkids.
So how is it different, since a lot of your clients that are getting ready to retire have grandkids? What's the difference between being a parent or being a grandparent?
In my particular case, much easier being a grandparent than a parent.
I imagine most grandparents would say that, I would think.
Much easier, So yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, much easier. It's always good to be able to give them back when you're done.
Yeah. One of the cool things that you and Shauna do, your wife, you guys like to travel. You like to go scuba dive. Now, I don't know if she scuba dives with you, and you don't do it as much as you used to. You talked about golf. You don't really golf much anymore. You got other things you do, but what do you guys like to do?
We have an Airstream, and so we got really involved with that. So her and I actually like to go camping a lot. So we'll do that. We'll actually take the Airstream out, and usually once a year in December, her and I will take about 10 days off, and or sometimes even 2 weeks, and we'll go up the coast in California, where we'll hit like just a little bit past Santa Barbara, Cambria. We'll go up to Monterey. Occasionally we'll go as far north as like Jenner and things of that nature, and then come back down. So that's one of our favorite things to do. And then also we have about a year and a half ago, we purchased a condo in San Diego. So we also like to go there on the weekends, especially when it gets real hot here in Corona, especially in the summertime when it's over 100 degrees here. We'll shoot down to San Diego, and it'll be 15 to 20 degrees cooler. So we enjoy that as well. And we really got that condo because we wanted to be able to get something that we can enjoy with the family as well, where the Airstream is a little bit harder to do. We tried it a few times, but usually, I got to rent them a cabin, and so doing it this way with the condo, we can all meet up in one place, and I don't have to worry about making reservations anywhere. And we have something that we can do with the family, but then my wife and I also have something that we can just do on our own.
Yeah. So, all right. So there you go. There's a little background on Rick Rivera. New York born, Queens, New York, off to California, has been there ever since about the 6th grade, all through college and high school and all that stuff, education in California. And then had started the company, Safeguard Investment Advisor Group, in 2008 with Reed Abedin and Eddie Soto. We're going to talk about that when we come back. But again, if you have questions about where you are on that road, you want some clarity into your retirement picture, I think that's one of the most important things that you can get just from having a 15-minute phone call with Rick and the team is get some of those questions or concerns answered. 800-700-1980. Again, no cost, totally complimentary. 800-700-1980. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Rick about Safeguard Investment Advisor Group. Maybe it's a group you ought to think about talking to. We're going to find out more about it when we come back right here on the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera.
You're listening to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. For more information about Rick and the Safeguard Investment Advisory Group team, go to safeguardinvestment.com. While you're there, you can also download educational retirement guides and sign up for an upcoming seminar. That's safeguardinvestment.com. Now, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. I'm Mark Elliott. Rick is a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisor Group, 20 years experience plus in the financial industry. And we're going to talk about that. We're kind of getting to know Rick a little bit today. We talked about his upbringing, born in Queens, New York, moved to California in the 6th grade, been there ever since. Let's talk about Safeguard Investment Advisor Group because it's really interesting. There's so many different areas in the financial world that you can go into. You can be an insurance agent, you can be a broker, you can be a retirement planner. Which is what you guys are at Safeguard Investment Advisor Group. How did you end up, you with Reed Aberdeen, Eddie Soda, kind of get together? I think you'd worked somewhere before together and then kind of started your own company. How did that play out?
Yeah. Earlier when I was talking to you and I was saying that, when I was in college and I started working for an estate planning company in Orange County, Reed was also working for that same company. And that's actually how I met Reed. We became very good friends. We worked for that company for a few years. And then Reed and I got an opportunity to actually work for a company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we went out there, we did that for a year, and then decided, you know what, we're coming back to California.
What? The weather wasn't better in Milwaukee?
It really was the guy that we went to work for that turned us off. And we decided to come back to California. But I will tell you that after experiencing Wisconsin winters, there is nothing that California can throw at me that I cannot handle after experiencing that.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. So then when we came back, then obviously, Reed and I, we got jobs at different companies. That's where Reed met Eddie at his company that he was working for. And I was working for a separate company. But of course, we were friends. So we always stayed in communication with each other. We were in the industry, and working for different companies. After a while, being in the industry, we saw how limited working for an institution was because, you only know what they teach you. And it's not until you go outside that box that you realize, hey, wait a minute, there's a whole nother world here. There's a whole nother level of services that are available that you can bring to the forefront for the clients. So at the beginning, when you first start working for an institution and you're green, all you know is what they present to you and what they show you, and they keep you inside this little box. But since we were moving at that time, early in our career, since we were moving from different companies, we'd get introduced to more and more things. And then we started going to different meetings and different seminars outside of what, the companies that we were working for to learn more. And realized, hey, wait a minute, you know what? If we started our own practice, we can actually offer a whole level of service that most people can't get by going to, some of these institutions that we were working for, because then we realized we could really fine tune the products and services specifically to the client's needs rather than a company just saying, okay, here's a few products that we want you to push. And then you're making a square peg try to make a square peg fit in a round hole. So then that's when we establish a relationship with a CPA. We establish a relationship with an attorney, even a healthcare professional. So that way, when we went out on our own and started our own company, we were able to make sure that no stone went unturned. So when we were putting together plans for our clients, we could make sure that whatever investment recommendations we were making for them didn't conflict with their taxes, because any recommendation somebody makes to you could have a positive or negative impact on your taxes. It could have a positive or negative impact on your Social Security or your pensions, or your trust and will planning. So that's the approach that we ended up taking. And we decided to partner up and do it that way rather than setting up three separate individual companies and have three separate, websites and all. We figured, hey, why don't we pool our resources together and we could build this more efficiently. And that's how we did it. And Eddie's up in Northern California in Sacramento, and Reed and I are down here in Corona in Southern California.
Yeah, because you have satellite offices in the Redlands and Temecula and El Dorado Hills. You have Santa Barbara, Oxnard, Escondido, San Diego, Roseville. The main office is Corona, I guess, but you have a lot of different locations as well.
Yes, yeah. The main office is in Corona. Eddie's up in Sacramento, but then we have offices Santa Barbara, Oxnard, Escondido, and in La Jolla as well in San Diego. And then we do have satellite offices, like you mentioned, like I have one in Temecula, one in Redlands, that we use for more convenience purposes for clients that are out in those areas to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, where you make the travel, they don't have to. You go meet them, kind of, yeah.
Exactly. We'll just meet them there at that office, yeah.
So how did you figure out where you wanted the offices to be? I mean, Corona's the main place where you and Reed are. Eddie, you said, is in Sacramento. So Eddie maybe was more familiar with that part of the country because really you had to first decide, okay, because you'd worked at different types of companies in the investment world, you had to decide what direction your company was going to go. How did you decide on, hey, I think we had to work in the retirement planning world. I think this is obviously a big need, and there's a whole slew full of baby boomers that are going to need our help.
Yeah, because we were already working with retirees, because part of like working with some of these estate planning companies, they were doing a lot of living trusts and wills and all that. So, and most people, I'm not saying all, but, I would say a big majority of people that at least at that time that were doing the trust and will planning and all that, they were either close to retirement or already retired, because they were the age bracket or the demographic that was really thinking more about it. Most younger people, they don't really think about that kind of stuff. That's something that just, that they're putting off. So we were already kind of dealing somewhat in that demographic. And then that's when we say, hey, wait a minute, we could really level this up and offer a lot more services and really fine tune it to their specific situation rather than just, giving them generalities, because we have no cookie cutter approach, so to speak. Everything is fine tuned for the client. Now, how I ended up in Corona, Reed had purchased a home here in Corona, and I was in Yorba Linda at the time, and I had an office in West Covina, but I was like, you know what? It made more sense at that time for my wife and I to buy a home in Corona because we got, again, with two kids, we got a lot more bang for the dollar rather than living in Yorba Linda. So we bought a house in Corona, and then I closed my office in West Covina, and then Reed and I just shared the office here in Corona. But of course, I kept my clients in West Covina, and at that time, I would, drive to go see them, and since they were out there, just to save them a drive. But now, I hardly do that anymore.
Right. So, all right, let's finish this up. We got about 3 minutes left. So, one of the cool things about, and you said it's not cookie cutter planning, right? It's really about what your clients need. So the big picture blueprint is about income planning, investment planning, tax efficient planning, healthcare / long-term care legacy planning, and then Social Security's in the income part, Medicare's in the healthcare part. How did the big picture blueprint, how does that, that really, I would think, gives people clarity and direction in their retirement, I would think.
It gives them peace of mind because they know that all the angles are being covered. And when I say gives them peace of mind, now they know that they're not going to get caught by surprise by anything. It's too many times I'll run into situations where, some people, when things are being done willy-nilly, and, let's just say, for example, God forbid, one spouse predeceases the other, and now the surviving spouse has to find out the hard way that, oh, wait a minute, that pension that my spouse was bringing in is no longer there for me, or it's going to get cut in half. And, oh, by the way, I'm losing a Social Security check, or maybe they pulled X amount of dollars out of their IRA, and now all of a sudden their Medicare premiums are going up, and they're like, oh my God, now they have a partner, somebody on their side that going into retirement, can game plan things out for them, educate them. And then that way they know not only are they going to they won't get caught by surprise, but we can, educate them to the point where, they know, hey, listen, before I make a move, let me at least lob a call, to Rick, Reed, Eddie, and make sure that whatever move I make is not going to have a negative impact on other aspects of the planning that we're doing. So they have somebody there, a partner that can guide them and make sure that everything is being done as efficiently as possible.
All right, final minute, and I'll let you wrap up the show. But I think one of the most important things is you allow people the opportunity. It's their retirement, it's their money, it's their hopes, it's their dreams. You're not going to tell them you have to do this or you have to do this. You're going to recommend some things to them, obviously. But at the end of the day, really what you're doing, I think, is you give people that have the wherewithal to be able to do the things they've always dreamed of, to travel, to get the new car, the whatever, but to have more freedom and the ability to spend money during those go-go years than they would if they had no plan, I think. You give them the confidence that, yes, you can do that, or, hey, maybe we should wait till next year to do that. But you're walking hand in hand with them.
Yeah, if they want, the ability to get the full picture, be educated, and at least know what their options are. They don't have to implement the suggestions, but at least know what the options are and what the opportunities are. That puts them in power. They can choose what they want to implement or not implement, but really the education is the big thing. And, if anybody has questions about any of this stuff, just give us a call. It costs you nothing. And I'll be happy, Mark, like you said earlier, I'll give them 45 minutes. I'll give them an hour of my time. They leave their checkbooks and all that behind. And if they give me an hour of their time, I've been doing this long enough that I will be able to give you at least 2 ideas that'll enhance whatever it is that you're currently doing, for sure.
So again, that number to talk with Rick and the team at Safeguard Investment Advisor Group is 800-700-1980. Might be the most important phone call you make. Gives you some clarity into your retirement picture. And you think of all the big Fortune 500 companies, they all have chief financial officers. Do we, though? Do you, as a family, as an individual, do you have somebody to help guide you? That's really what Rick and the team at Safeguard could be for you. But it just starts with a phone call. No cost for this whatsoever. 800-700-1980. 800-700-1980. Rick, as always, enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. Have a great day.
Firm offers insurance services. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC, is a registered investment advisory firm. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC, is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC.